I'm just going to ramble and I hope you can unshamble my configuration of wordish. I would like to cut out and spell out my memories associated with my journey of climbing. In no grand particular order or format, I'm gonna pick and choose. Hope I don't get things too confused. And here we go. At the beginning of time, I only knew of the auto belays. And man, I had a blast on these baddies of the boys. I was climbing every day. I would pick a route, and in hindsight it was more like a 5-6 route. It wasn't even that difficult, but I would pick it, I would go up it, I would come down, and then I'll go right back up and I'll come down until my forearms completely ballooned up like a balloon and my veins were practically bursting full of blood. And I didn't care about training, and this sounds weird saying it out loud now, but I really didn't even care about becoming a better climber. I just wanted to keep pounding the auto belays over and over again every day. I just wanted to climb more. Flappers, not a problem. I had tape. No skin, not a problem. I had tape. I didn't feel like climbing, not a problem. That was never a problem. I always felt like climbing. And this honeymoon period of my climbing beginnings was filled with nothing but just joy and discovery and interest peaking. Like sometimes I would notice and I would partake in ropeless climbing, later named as bouldering, and I was super ignorant, I must say, but the innocent type of ignorant. I'm sure you know what I mean. I would opt to select one hold on high, and that was the goal, was to get to that one hold on high using whatever holds that I could find. And that was how I would do ropeless, auto belay-less climbing. It wasn't until a much more seasoned salt and pepper climber tapped with me on the shoulder and said, "Hey yo brother, my man, my G, these holes, they be color coded. Follow the color and that's the route, my man. Good luck." Amazing. I'm so dumb. On the auto belays, I follow a very specific route color, so of course it will only make sense that when I was doing auto belay-less climbing, I will also do the same thing. And I had this really weird particular mindset back then, because I would also notice lead climbers climbing without the use of the auto belays. And I don't know why it never registered inside my brain that that too was something that I could do. It was like they were a dog, ruff ruff, and I was a cat, meow, and I couldn't change my species. So it was just natural to never ever forever conceive the fact that I could belay and lead. Of course I could do all that stuff right now though. In my youth, I saw V6 as the epitome of climbing. No one could climb harder than this. I've only ever seen people in my gym almost climb this hard. And also at this time, I didn't know that the V scale went past 9, nor did I know what the V scale was. I just knew it was the letter V in front of behind a letter or behind a number. The gym just never had anything harder than a 9 set. Or it could have been when I was such a much weaker climber, I just never looked for higher numbers. So I just mayhaps just never noticed higher numbers. And you know, no one I saw could climb harder than the 6, including me. And at the time, I couldn't even climb V4. I was still struggling and tearing my calluses off of V2s and 3s. I was using chalk from chalkball, and every time that chalkball ran out, I'll buy more chalkballs. I didn't even know chalk came in bags for like 2 years. And I was at that how do I say this, befuddlement stage where I would watch someone try V4, which was an incredibly hard climb for me at the time, and I couldn't even do it. And then once they left, I would go up to that V4 problem and I would try it, and I was like, how were you able to hold this? This makes no sense. I can't even get up off the ground. I'm trying to hold this, my fingers hurt. How did your fingers not hurt if you? And this was a strength that I just could not comprehend. And fruitfully, honestly, this was a strength that I thought that I could never acquire. In fact, it was so unachievable that I didn't even consider the fact that it was achievable. You know what I mean? Like I gave up before I started. Really weird. I had no goals oriented around climbing. I just like climbing, so I did it a lot. And although I did it a lot, I honestly just wasn't that good at it given how much I climbed. And for sure, I do believe that a climbing goal would have helped steered me in the correct direction and increased my rate of progression, but I didn't have one, nor did I have a desire for one. And every so often I would see an absolute monster come into the gym and crush the boulder problems. By crush the boulder problems, I mean he did like V6 and V7s. And to me, that was completely utterly shatteringly amazing. I was just absolutely baffled. I did not understand how anyone could just be that strong, looking that normal. And it's dumb to say this, but I not dumb, but just I didn't think finger strength was that important back. In terms of climbing, I favor like pressy type, stemming type problems with really awkward boxes. But honestly, I was just bad at everything else. And it took me so long to realize that a good pair of climbing shoes can make or break the climb. I had always just bought the beginner pair of climbing shoes because I bought it once and it worked well. And then I just continued to buy over and over again, but I had nothing to compare it to. So of course it was the best and the worst. And I was like, I don't see a need to increase this really. And I also had a horrendous habit of dragging my feet down the climbing walls because I was like afraid of falling or something. So I always wanted my feet to be connected to the wall as I down climbed. So you can guess how that went. It meant I had to buy a lot of pair of shoes because I really ran down my shoes really quickly. But once I finally bit the nail and bought a proper pair of good, high quality, good fitting climbing shoes, epiphany hit me like one of those stray arrows that Cupid shoots all the time. And the epiphany went something like this. It's not that I'm bad at slabs. My shoes were just awful. Believe it or not, I thought it was pretty normal to have your feet slide in your shoes. And because of that, I fell a lot and constantly scraped my shins, which I thought was a super cool, manly thing to have. But at the end of the day, it's actually just a reflection of horrible feet. Silly old me, you're so dumb. So I climbed and climbed and climbed, and the idea of outdoor bouldering floated through the gym I was in, and it would hit my head every now and then. But I just never leaned towards it. I ignored it for eons, perhaps even a millennium. Why would I go outdoor bouldering when I could just, not go outdoor bouldering in the hot sweltering heat, carrying a crash pad on my back, walking 40 minutes through the woods just to climb one boulder, when I could just come to this nice, well air conditioning room where they reset the routes every so often, and it's really nice and air conditioning, and the pads are really everywhere, so it's super safe. So honestly, what's so great about outdoor bouldering? Man, oh man, brother, my man, my G, outdoor bouldering is such a banger. First time outdoors, and the reality of the fact that I needed way more crimp strength just really made me want to train so much more harder. I thought I was good, I thought wrong. And it was humbling. It was an eye-opener. And it added a variety to my life without detracting from anything currently in it. I just have more opportunities to climb in different environments now, so it was just nothing but a bonus for me. How marvelous, I would like to conclude. Did you? No, I used to think that a 20mm edge was a really small edge size. This was around the time where I could climb like a V4, and I was starting to take note of the other climbers' strength around me. And as I started training and climbing and starting to progress, I started to notice that my climbing started to drift away from theirs, in the sense that I was going up and they were staying shame. And of course this felt good because it reinforced in my head that while I was climbing and training and everybody else was climbing and probably training too, I was progressing and they were not. Perhaps because I'm just so deadly consistent. Albeit my progression was always slow, it was never spontaneous or anything of that nature. And as I started approaching V6 and V7 indoors, I started to really notice and appreciate the monsters. Because when you suck at something, everyone's better than you. So in terms of level of difficulty, it's just yes or no. But once you're a little bit better and you're in that middle ground where you're better than some and worse than others, you start to gain this thing called perspective. And perspectively, the monsters were so much stronger than I thought they could ever be. There were levels to this climbing shenanigan, and the higher I got, the more I realized the higher the levels just kept going. And so I started climbing the steps. If I was to briefly summarize my progression in terms of rate of progression using just indoor climbing, it'd probably have to go something like this, just so you have an idea. The first 2 years, I could do about 50% of the wall, which kind of was like V0 to V3/V4. Third year, I could do about 70 to 90% of the wall with the occasional 100%, which meant I could do about V0 to V6 and sometimes V8, but it would have to be like a really easy 8. And now in the 4th year, I can pretty much do 90 to 100% of the wall on a casual. Super common occurrence, not a problem. I could 100% it if I felt like it. By the way, I say I've been climbing for 4 years now, but in reality, it could be anywhere from 3 to 4 years because I don't exactly remember the specific number or start date. But it took me about that long to finally climb outdoor V10. Maybe that's fast, probably not. Maybe that's normal, probably. Maybe it's slow, I don't really think so. And back at the beginning and middle, I remember looking at the strong climbers and just wishing I was just as adequate as they were. And as time has passed, I realized, hey, I could stand next to you now. We can both touch the same rock or problem, and I won't be left in the dust. And in some cases, I'm even better than some of these climbers that I looked up to or measure myself against. And obviously, I do hope to become better than in the future. And let me just give you some fun insight on my strength numbers in case you were by any chance curious. When I started climbing, I could do 20 pull-ups in a row, albeit they were fast pull-ups, but they were good full range of motion pull-ups. And I could do them on a very good day. I could do 20 pull-ups in a row. Now I could do 20 pull-ups in a row with a pause at the top and a pause at the bottom, pretty much whenever I feel like it. Granted, it's not easy, it's very tiring, but I could bust it. I can now also do a one-arm pull-up. What a shocker. I never thought I could do a one-arm pull-up ever in my entire life, but now I can. When I started climbing, I was having trouble hanging off 20 millimeters with 2 hands, and now I could do it with 1 hand. Honestly, I never thought this was ever going to be possible for me, but look at me. Wow, I'm so strong now. Yeah. Also, my fingers are like legitimately thicker than what they used to be prior to climbing. I wish I had taken pictures of my hands, but that's kind of weird. And I want to say my forearms are bigger, but I can't really tell. Maybe not. I think they are. And I remember a very, very fun turning point for me, because there was a time when I was climbing, doing handstands and working out on my legs very vigorously and hard, doing all 3 pretty hard. And I got it to the point where I was able to hold a handstand for 70 seconds straight in a row. That's my PR. And my leg strength was shooting up through the roof, and my legs were ballooning up like they never been ballooning up before. And then I hit a critical point, and it was just like, I just can't keep up all 3 of these disciplines at once and hope to achieve a high level in all 3. So I was like, I really got to pick and choose, or else I'm gonna get things confused. And this was a pretty legitimate battle for me to choose. But at the end of the day, at the start of the day, I kind of already knew. So I said, good day, handstands. Bye-bye. And then I said, it wasn't that fun while it lasted, but I'm glad it lasted. Goodbye, legs. And then I just spent all my time climbing. And then I became a happier person. And then I truly, utterly doubled down and realized, oh man, oh geez, oh gosh, I guess I really do like this thing called climbing, right? And not once had I ever considered stopping. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, partner.